This is Tech Addicts. This week, it's the last podcast of the year, and we're chatting about the Realme GT Neo 5, Dyson's headphones that'll let you breathe easier, Tim Cook's Seed, Amazon Luna, and much more. And it's Christmas!
One. Ooh! Oh, that's peaking really high. What should I do about that? One! That's going to be really loud.
Stop shouting into the microphone. It'll peak if you shout in the microphone.
1, 2. Okay, we'll probably be alright. Your turn.
No, I'm alright, actually. I might actually leave this in so that people get an idea of the things I have to go through in order for you to start the podcast. Just as a wee Christmas special. Why not?
Yes, an Easter egg at Christmas.
By the way, folks, you're listening to the Tech Addicts podcast. Welcome and Merry, Merry Christmas to you all.
Hello! Jingle bells, jingle all the way, and all that claptrap.
Now you have to go and do every other religion and every other life choice or whatever holiday season festivity. Go ahead.
No, jingle bells is not religious. I refute it. It's all about jingling bells on Santa's sleigh. No religion at all. It's more to do with Lapland.
That's the lap dancing club down your way, isn't it?
He landed on my lap. It was Lapland.
Your favourite lap dancer, Cinnamon, had some bells on her last night, didn't she? Ooh,
yes. Weather report.
Weather.
Well, it's sunny actually here. The sun is out, believe it or not. It's really cold. It's like nearly just above freezing, but the sun is out. And it's actually quite interesting kind of weather going on at the moment, isn't it? What's it like there?
It is quite sunny. There's blue skies. But I was on Twitter but a moment ago, and a lady who lives near me, who runs a guest house down on the at the harbour, the marina that we have. She had a video stream or a time lapse that she'd done of the clouds coming in from Scotland, and how there was sleet and snow in them. But that hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah, right.
And that was this morning that she posted that, unless it was from yesterday. But we didn't get sleet or snow yesterday either.
Yeah, we had some snow last night.
Ooh.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon, evening, it came down. In fact, it came down at lunchtime because I was trying to start my bloomin' moped and it didn't want to start, and it was snowing then. But it's not enough to settle or anything, just in the air. Yeah.
Did you get that wet snow, the slushy snow that isn't particularly nice?
Call yourself snow?
Yeah, well, that's what happened. But yes, I'm hoping that it doesn't snow because unfortunately I have a task to do that after the podcast, which I'm not looking forward to. Mm-hmm. In her infinite wisdom, my wife took my car yesterday to go and pick up our stepdaughter to take her up to the horse that she has. Mm-hmm. And she keeps her cat on a lead, a harness on a lead, and she's trained it like a dog, and it goes out for walks with her around the town. So she insisted on bringing the cat with her in the car up to the yard where the horse is.
Yeah.
And they got up there, and the big German Shepherd was up there, and they went, "Oh dear, we can't bring the cat out of the car." So they went and mucked out the horse and did a few things and fed the horse and things, and got back into the car and realised that the cat had peed everywhere, all over my waterproof coat and the back seats. So I have to go and clear that up today. Annoying. So I'm in a bad mood, folks.
It's all to do with animals.
'Tis.
Animals are for eating. Oh, we better take that out. I'll be in trouble for that.
Well, yeah, we do eat a large portion of them. Not as in a big plate full of animals, just a large portion of the animal content of the world.
And if you head to the Far East, you eat a lot more things. Let's not go there.
No, to the Far East. That's a lovely place.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, just to see... Never mind, move on.
Yeah. So, it's Christmas. This is the last podcast of the year. I'm taking a 3-week break from podcasting in general over Christmas because every Sunday has been written off over the last 52 weeks. Oh, the odd exception here and there where something's happened. But yes, the podcast does occupy a lot of time on a Sunday, so I'm just having I call it a well-deserved break. You might not, because you're like, oh, thank goodness. Yes.
I don't have a life, you see, so I just carry on, and every week is the same to me, and every day is pretty much the same. So it's just different. I noticed this when I stopped working, is that when you're working, you have structure and a pattern to your life, and particularly when you're living with a nuclear family in the same home as other people, and when you live on your own, you haven't really got.
Something's happened here.
Not again. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
oh, there he is.
7,
Aha,
8,
he's
9. Back. Good grief.
Warts and all, folks, today. Warts and all.
What I was saying was that when you live in a nuclear family and you have a job and you have people around you, you just approach life differently. And I can understand why someone would want a break from what they normally do. And you start to understand annual leave. I used to when I was working, but I just don't now. I don't know if you heard me, but every day is the same, every week is the same. The whole structure of routine just kind of goes out the window to a large degree. But you're still in there. I can't wait for the day of retirement, because I've got a Blu-ray collection that I've been building, and that's going to be my structure. I'm going to start at the start and work my way through every day a different movie. You get a sore bum.
I'm not going to be sitting there all day. I'm just going to be going, right, today we're starting at the start, so 10,000 years BC or whatever the first one is.
Anyway, Gareth Williams reckons that you're a right cad. No Tech Addicts for 3 weeks over Christmas and New Year, he says. What a terrible end to 2022.
Sorry, Gareth.
Poor old Gareth, our number one fan too. We need to look after him. On a serious note, the
Only
podcast... Yeah. On a serious note, he finishes, the podcast remains unsurprisingly top class.
Have you not listened to other podcasts out there, Gareth? There are other better ones. I can name several.
Shh, quiet. Sit down at the back. Looking forward to what Tech and the podcast has in store for 2023. Thank you, Gareth, and everyone else who's given us best wishes and all that. And we do appreciate your tuning in and having some value in continuing to get up on a Sunday morning when we could be in bed.
Yeah.
Not together, you understand.
Well, yes, because we're thousands of miles apart. Thousands? Hundreds of miles apart. It did occur to me this morning whenever I woke up, a little bit hungover, I suppose, and I was trying to work out, is today the day that we're not doing the podcast? Do I get to lie on, or do I have to get up? Damn, I have to get up.
Blasting curses.
Looking forward to next Sunday, very much. You can think of me, instead of listening to this, you can just go, he's running through fields of daisies in slow motion.
Nice. And I'll do a live phone in.
You could do if you want.
That'd be quite funny, actually, wouldn't it? No, we mustn't. We'll all have a break.
Yes, I think we need one. And you all, dear listeners, need a break from me. I don't want you hating me completely, 100%. Just keep it at 98%. Yeah. All right, moving into the Hardline for the hardware, where there's hardware stuff to be talked about. And yes, we're going to start with OnePlus, who might be releasing a mechanical keyboard next year, which is an interesting take for them. They did a monitor, didn't they?
I think they're talking about doing a monitor, but they haven't actually done it yet.
Right.
But now that they're in bed with Oppo, I think they're doing all sorts of things, aren't they? They're expanding their empire, and they're gearing up to announce PC monitors, but it's unlikely that they'll reach the West. Certainly initially, it's going to be kind of China and the Far East only. But
India, yeah, they're getting a monitor.
India, yeah. Mechanical keyboards, though, are of interest to me at the moment, as you know, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. They've gone into collaboration with this company called Keychron. Do you know them?
No.
No, nor do I. I'm guessing that's another Far East company. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. I think, like gaming, mechanical keyboards is kind of coming back a bit and taking off. And I own the responsibility for this. I was the one that started this movement forward. And, and so I should get some money out of this.
You were at the shareholder meeting with OnePlus whenever you announced you should make a mechanical keyboard.
Definitely was.
Interesting.
But the only thing that annoys me about my mechanical keyboard is the fact that it's wired. I know that gamers will say, you've got to have it wired, latency and but it's just, after you've had a wireless keyboard for so long, that's really, really annoying. The Logitech mechanical, MX mechanical keyboard is not wired. But I guess the purists would say that's not quite the same thing. But I think that's probably where I would head in the long term.
Yeah. Well, I think Logitech's wireless thing, when it works, is really good. And those couple of days a year, maybe that you have a bit of a problem with it, it can be quite frustrating. There's nothing worse than having an input method that's a bit janky.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And the same is true of the mouse as well, as we've said before on this show. I've now got line of sight on the dongle to my mouse, and it works perfectly. But if I try and move it just below the desk or somewhere else, plug it in somewhere else, and it just jumps all over the place. It really has got a very short connection field, I think.
Oh, I'm the same. My mouse is 2 feet away from the dongle, and I haven't had any issues, which is great, I suppose. Yeah. But it's not a hard thing, but it might be for some who have desktop PCs that don't have a USB hub. But then I think everyone would, really.
Indeed.
Or you get a monitor that has one built into it.
Yes, indeed. That's the best idea.
So Samsung have announced that they're going to make fingerprint logins 2.5 billion times more secure by 2025. And this is a new kind of thing that they're toting. How are they expecting to do this?
They talked about, a while ago, they talked about making the bottom third of a screen all fingerprint scanner, so you didn't have to put your finger on the target of the, and it was very narrow. But that idea seems to have gone by the board now, because Samsung are going a stage further and turning the whole of an OLED panel. There's no mention about LCDs, but certainly OLED panels, turning the whole of the panel into a mega fingerprint scanner. And where the 2.5 billion times comes in is that they're not talking about one fingerprint. So they're talking about if you put 3 fingerprints on the phone at the same time, that's when that security takes off to those ridiculously secure levels, because of all the data that is needed with 3 fingerprints. So that's where they're heading with this, and that sounds like it's a good idea. Although my thought does go to the fact that you might always need a case on the phone from now on, because when you pick it up,
yes,
it's gonna open up your phone every time your fingers touch the screen.
yeah, that's true. Unless you just register one finger and then hold that finger away while you're using the phone.
Yes, that would kind of defeat the object of having this 2.5 billion times more security. But yeah, 3 fingers and probably 4. I don't know. They're talking about 3 fingers, but I'm sure that you could do as many as you wanted, and the more, then the more secure it becomes. Face ID, of course, I think still is the thing. Although people do not Face ID, but Face Unlock. I think that's the thing for me that is much more useful. But they do obviously say that that's much less secure, and there's been these experiments done with people's photographs and stuff, which kind of unpick that a bit. Anyway, interesting little development.
Well, I've watched a couple of movies recently where they've used the Face ID to unlock the phone in the film. I think Bullet Train I watched the other night, and it had it where they held up the phone and to a dead person and unlocked his phone. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. So that's more of a thing that's now becoming a thing.
Indeed.
It's not a bad film, that, actually, that Bullet Train. I was quite impressed by it.
Oh, good.
Just to throw it out there. Realme GT Neo 5 is rumoured to be coming soon, and it's got a pretty whopper of a charging thing inside of it. 240-watt system. That will charge your phone in minus minutes, is it? Where yeah.
Minus minutes.
It'll be charged before you even attach the cable. Brilliant. Wonderful.
I thought that they're quoting 9 minutes for 0 to 100%, but I thought that they'd already got that. I thought there was a phone we spoke about on this very podcast during the year where they said they got 9 minutes, but
there was, yeah, but they had to. Was it the 150 one? They mentioned the Oppo's 150 system, but because of America's wattage thing, that they couldn't use the full 240. So it expanded it by a few minutes, so they didn't really push for it. But it looks like Realme's going to go for it.
But I thought that one, the OnePlus one with that American thing going on, was 150, not 240.
Yeah,
I don't know. But it seems like it.
No, but I think at the time we discussed how Realme were going to be doing the 240, and now it is they're doing the 240. So we're kind of talking about rumours, and they're coming true.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So anyway, yeah, serious power, and before you, as you say, almost before you plugged it in, it's charged. Just stunning. As you know, I've got this Motorola here, which charges really quickly in 38 minutes. I timed it the other day, and that's staggering enough. But then this is 4 times as fast as that.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
As long as you're on the right cable with the right charger.
Yeah. That's that is the thing. I have been using the Pixel cable. No, I've been using my GAN 100-watt charger and the cable that came with the Pixel book.
Right.
And that seems to do it in 38 minutes.
From 0 to 100%?
Yeah, in 38 minutes. Yes, I'm very impressed with that. Not that I use it all the time, because it's got Qi charging, but that's another story.
It is, but it fits an emergency situation quite nicely. All right, horrible news here that leaked out in The Independent the other day, and it's regarding Sky Television, and it's a reason for people to ditch Sky Television entirely. Word is that as of December the 1st, Sky Glass and Sky Stream users could be getting an additional £5 charge if they skip or fast forward through adverts, which is insane. Absolutely insane. Imagine having that appearing on your bill, an extra £5 charge because you were sick of seeing Daz Ultra ads, or I'm trying to think who else advertises on TV. Daz and BT, they used to do ones, and Terry's Chocolate Orange with that old Raiders of the Lost Ark one, and J.R. Hartley adverts. So if you decide to skip those, you could get charged.
No. It works the other way around. They're charging people by default £5 on their bill, and what they're saying to people is that if you want to opt out of that, then you can. You have to sit through the adverts. If you continue to have the £5 charge on your bill by default and don't opt out, then we'll allow you to skip through the adverts. So all of Sky TV viewers are just going to have this put on their bill, without any reference to them. It goes on, and you've got to know to opt out.
Oh, I see. I can't open the entire article because I have to register to continue.
Yeah, I managed to read it on my phone this morning, but you're right, on my web browser I can't read it all as well, but further down it does say that. It's opt out, and if you want to stop them taking the £5, then you've got to say, stop taking the £5 and I won't skip through the adverts.
That is pretty disgusting, especially when you consider that Sky TV people are paying about £100 for their subscription anyway.
Yeah.
It'll just push more people away from the service. It's awful.
Dreadful.
Yeah. So I'd put it out to the people. Are you affected by this? Are you going to leave Sky TV if they do this to you? Most things are usually opt-in.
Yeah.
But in this case, they seem to be able to circumvent that right and make it opt-out.
Yeah. So by default, you can skip through the adverts, and they will charge you £5. You can opt out of the £5, and then you won't be able to skip through it. It's a bit complicated, isn't it? But that's how it's in.
What if it's that's on Sky's channels, isn't it? So if you say, for example, you're watching ITV, which is littered with adverts, and you were to, would you be forced to watch those adverts even though Sky doesn't get any money from them?
On a Sky TV television?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it meant Sky TV as in the service, not the television.
Well, I know it's been a while since I've had Sky, so I think Sky One, when you were watching The Simpsons, they had 3 sets of adverts. You get 5 minutes in, then there would be an ad break, then you get 7 minutes of The Simpsons, then an ad break, then another 7 minutes of The Simpsons, then an ad break, and then 5 minutes as they conclude. A bit like American TV in a way. And you could probably skip those adverts then if you were to pay the extra £5.
Yes.
But if you're watching an ITV programme like, I don't know, what do they do? Like Miss Marple, don't they do? And Murder, She Wrote Down.
You mean within Sky?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so you're still using the Sky service, okay.
Yeah, but you're watching ITV. I wonder if it applies to that as well.
I would think so, yeah. My guess is yes.
Right, okay. It's interesting. Shitty, but interesting. Okay, going to something that actually I remember seeing yonks ago. I think I talked about these on Talk Sports some years ago. The Dyson headphones, which purify the air around you whilst you're listening to them and make you look like some kind of ludicrous superhero.
Darth Vader.
Yeah. This was a rather insane idea, and it seems to be getting closer to becoming a thing. Although I don't think it's actually out yet.
Isn't it? They're quoting a price, aren't they?
They are $949, which is a bit insane. Isn't Dyson a British company?
Yeah, well, it used to be. I don't know if it still is.
Right. Okay.
But like a bit like Marshall,
Yeah.
But that front bit, which is clip on, clip off. The interesting statistic here, right, is that the headphones, which apparently are really, really good headphones, forget about the air thingy. The headphones are really good quality, noise cancelling, blah blah blah. They'll be up there with the best of them because they're made by Dyson and they've done it properly. But they've got 50 hours of playback time, which is great. As soon as you put this air conditioning thingy on it, this purifier thingy on it, that drops to 4 hours.
That's still not too bad.
4 hours from 50 hours. So all the juice in these poor headphones is being zapped instead of playing you lovely music. It's being zapped. It looks all a bit silly to me. Do you really think anyone's going to buy this?
I do. I think out in the Far East, where we have discussed before in the podcast, they would probably use it quite a lot, with the smog-filled cities like Beijing and Hong Kong or Singapore.
Okay.
That it would do really well. I imagine a number of people would probably utilise them in London and Manhattan, because they are terrified of germs and that sort of thing. So it would really work. But I can't imagine anyone walking around Rill in Wales wearing one of these, because they would get looked at and going, oh look, there's Iron Man over there. That wasn't Welsh, but it was more Yorkshire, wasn't
it? and then charge it every 4 hours.
Well, that's all right. Do you generally use your headphones for longer than 4 hours in a go?
Sometimes I do, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I do take the point. But what was just staggering me was that they were pumping these up as 50 hours. Wonderful, it sounds great. And then suddenly it's dropped to 4 hours.
Yeah. Well, no, I liked these whenever they first came about. It sounds ridiculous, but it has a need. And it's a shame that we have to invent that something like this has to be invented because the Earth is so dirty right now. But obviously, I wouldn't want to be heading out to, I don't know, was it Java recently? They had a volcano erupt, and you'd be able to walk around with one of these, and it could clean the ash out of the air and things like that.
For 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
You could carry a power pack with you, I suppose. Keep it plugged in. In your rucksack, you can have a power bank.
Oh, yeah, an Anker battery, yeah, a big Jackery one or something like that. That would work. All right, next up is, I can't open this. Site can't be reached.
Amazon wants to give you $2 a month to spy on your phone usage. Actually, it's not quite as bad as the headline makes it sound. Amazon are running this verification program, which is currently in the United States and the United Kingdom, and the scheme is invite only at the moment, so it's not rolled out to everyone by any stretch of imagination, and it's completely optional. And they're saying to their customers on the program, if you've got onto the program, that we'll give you $2 a month. Presumably in Blighty that would be £2 a month, if you agree to participate in the company's ad verification program. And if you say yes to that and turn it on, they can then scoop your phone, scour your phone whenever you're online and look at what adverts you're looking at. So this is where it comes into question as to how deep that is ingrained into what you're doing. So what they seem to be presenting as that they only scoop up adverts if they're Amazon adverts, but I don't believe them. I think that they'll be infiltrating wherever you are, whatever you're using, and getting your data from everywhere and everywhere. So, you know, I think people would be... You'd have to really be desperate for $2 a month to say yes to this, given that the risks involved, and it's madness, isn't it?
It is. It's a bit worrying as well. But something's going on here as well. I can't access that at all. It says that there's an application error. The client-side exception has occurred. See browser console for more information. Maybe they've taken this post down?
I'm looking at it. So that blows your theory out of the water, doesn't it?
I know, but maybe you're looking at a cached version of it, whereas I'm trying to access it. Because I had a look at it on my Chromebook this morning when I woke up, and it was okay, but now...
New incognito window, opened up first time, no problem. You've obviously got a far too clever Raspberry Pi thingy down in your cellar.
Yeah, which Amazon would have trouble getting. I don't have a cellar. Don't tell anyone I have a cellar.
That's Amazon. That's an Android Authority page instead, not an Amazon page.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Anyway, Motorola they've got a launch event planned for December the 15th, which is 4 days from now. That would be Thursday.
Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah. What are we expecting to see?
The X40, and the X40 is an upgrade to last year's, believe it or not, X30, which is also the Edge 30 Ultra. So this will be the Edge 40 Ultra, I think, in some markets, including ours here. And it's basically their flagship. It's going to be, all singing, all dancing, OLED panel, obviously, slightly curved edges, not so much as the one from my Edge Plus, hopefully, with its waterfall edges. 6.67-inch screen, yet again. They haven't run out of stock of those yet. Android 13 out of the box, and they're going to commit to 3 OS updates now, and I believe 4 years of security. So at last, Motorola, at least for their flagships, are getting on board with this. But I suppose the big news for most people will be it's highly likely to be the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset here as well. An OIS, a main camera with OIS on it, an ultra-wide, no zoom by the looks of it, which is interesting. Sorry, there is a zoom. There's a 2 times optical zoom, but that's based on around the 12-megapixel third camera and not the 50-megapixel ordinary or the ultra-wide. Stereo speakers, and going on my recent experience with Motorola, they're going to be very good. The other thing about it is that there's no wireless charging. No wireless charge. Well, I mean, obviously this is all speculation at the moment, but that's a real... I don't get that. Why would you produce a flagship when your £300 Neo that I've got in my hand now has got Qi charging, and yet your what's likely to be probably £800 or £900 flagship has got no Qi charging? What?
Yeah. But I'm sure it'll be... We'll find out in December. It's still only rumours at the moment. You never know. It could just be some administrative exclusion. But
Yeah.
there's something about the front of the phone. On the leaked images that we have, I don't know that it hasn't got a chin or something at the bottom. Just a little bit of extra space just under the screen. See if you have a look at the front render of it. You can see that there is a bit of a warping down at the bottom, which might be, just the way that the picture was taken by whoever snuck out that picture. But then if you look at the side, there is just a little bit of extra space underneath the screen. I wonder if this is going to be a bit like Oppo did with some of their devices. They have the screen just raised up a little bit in the chassis of the phone.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Okay.
The left-hand picture of the 3.
Yeah. At the very bottom of it, there's like a greyish
Plastic.
area.
Yeah, it looks like a plastic kind of lip.
Yeah.
And you reckon that's going to be what?
Well, if you have a look at the side profile view, where the one on the far right, there just appears to be a little bit extra space down at the bottom there.
Oh, yeah. It seems to go up, doesn't it?
Yeah, the screen could be raised up the device just ever so slightly.
Sitting proud, you mean?
Kind of, yeah. A bit like Android devices used to have, where there would be a bit of a chin down there. You would obviously have controls and things on the chin, but we don't need those tactile buttons or anything anymore. But it seems... I know that Oppo did that with their Find series. I think the screen sat up just a little bit higher, and there was a bit of exposed surface of the phone down at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, it probably is. It does look like it's still going to be edge-to-edge screen, but I'm just speculating that there might be something down there to make it look a wee bit different to all the phones that'll be surrounding it on Carphone Warehouse's shelves.
Yeah. And what they should also do is produce an X40 Mini. So
Yes.
all of the goodness, including Qi charging, please. All of the goodness in a smaller body, please, and not a great big one that all... Anyway, let's not go there again.
Well, the camera array on the back, I think, is really dull and boring on this X40.
Yeah.
The Edge 30 Ultra has a much more exciting camera bump, and it looks the piece. This one looks like a step backwards.
I think it might have the notification thing round it, the same as my Neo. It looks like it might be... Yeah, on my Neo, round the camera lump, you've got notification light, and it lights up when there's a notification coming in, and it looks like that might have the same, which is possibly why it's looking a bit odd.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Good old-fashioned notifications when your phone's set face down.
No, it works, because if you use the case... it's done in such a way that the light goes round the edges of the case, and even if the phone is flat on its back, you can still see the light going round the edges. I guarantee it.
Okay. Well, that's one thing to recommend then. Maybe that'll woo people over instead of wireless charging. Okay, Tecno, Tecno, have unveiled because we're speaking about fierce cameras, the Phantom 2 Pro smartphone, which has a retractable portrait lens built into it. This is pretty mega, this phone camera setup. In it?
Well, first thing to say is that the phone, which I understand is aimed at the Indian market, is pretty crap. Oh. If you drill down to the specifications of it, it's just really, really low. Not low, but mid-tier and not very exciting. Lots and lots of things missing and just not very exciting. What they're trying to sell this on is the back of this this portrait camera, which pops out the back. And what they've
Oh dear,
tried...
folks, we appear to have lost Mr. Ted Salmon again. He
Not again.
seems
1,
to,
2, 3, 4, 5...
back in the room.
What I was trying to say was that they're selling it on the back of this pop-out portrait lens camera, which is trying to say to the world, you don't need to do this stuff via software like Apple and Google and everyone else is doing. We can give you a proper old-fashioned portrait with a longer lens, equivalent 65mm apparently, which will blur your background in the way that it was supposed to be with proper cameras, and not by jiggling about with software and half the time getting the edges of your subject wrong and over sharpened and blah blah blah. This is the real McCoy, and this is it done properly, and it will pop out and it will extend the focal length to make all that happen with a relatively small aperture.
Yeah, seems like a pretty bad idea.
Well, if you see, the thing is that if Samsung was doing this, you'd be wowing about it. But Samsung would be putting this on a phone that was also equipped with a good array of other features, and not this being the only feature.
Well, I was talking to a gentleman last weekend who was asking me about his camera, and he said, "What can I do about this?" And he turned it on, and the barrel didn't extend because it had been damaged a wee bit. He, I don't know, sat on it or something like that, or I was like, well, you could try and get it repaired, or you could go on to eBay and buy another one, because they're probably about 40 quid to buy one of these models on eBay. Because moving parts are bad, especially with something that you're using all of the time. Bits of dust and things like that will collect into it. If I have a look at the back of my Pixel under the case, there's gunk and dust that's collected around the lens, or the camera lump. Having that on the back of this, I wouldn't trust a company that I've never really heard of before to build a mechanism that will be dust free. And over the course of maybe 2 years that you take out this contract, I would fully believe that this camera would eventually start to not work as well as it did, or not be able to move out. And you've got nothing else in the phone that's really going to wow anyone.
No.
And you'll just go, you have a broken camera with a crap phone.
Yeah, definitely. But apparently Oppo are onto this as well. And they've got one in the pipeline, and they're going to be doing one similar. You know, it's not a million miles away from what the Galaxy Samsung were doing with the Galaxy Zoom. Just having
that was a big chunky lens.
Yeah.
This is a tiny little one with little aluminium bits inside that can bend easy.
So you don't think that any moving parts is a good idea anymore?
No, I don't. I like the idea of, what was it, the periscope lenses, so that it would move inside the phone, and that would protect it. You're not going to damage it quite as easily. But this actually protrudes from the phone and moves in and out, which is so simple to accidentally bend or break.
Doesn't come out very far.
If some curious little child were to go, let's push it back in, I know I would as a kid. It looks like a button, and you're going to push it back in, and that's it, buggered.
Does your 6 Pro, your Pixel 6 Pro, does it still rattle? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yep. You can hear all that stuff going about inside there, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Techno. I remember Techno as a shop in the UK. Do you remember that? They used to sell cameras. They were very similar to Jessop's, and they used to sell cameras and related photography gear and stuff in about the 1980s, something like that. 90s.
It might have been mainland only. You know, we only got our first Jessop's a few years ago.
Right. Well, in that case, this is not the same company. This one is based in China.
Yes. They probably just bought the copyright.
Yeah.
Realme 10 Pro and Realme 10 Pro Plus are about to arrive. These are some good-looking phones that are, well, as you would expect with Realme, somewhat reasonably priced. The 10 Pro comes with a 6.72-inch IPS LCD display. There you go, Ted. It's a wee bit different to what you were expecting.
Yeah.
With 120 hertz of refresh rate and the Snapdragon 695 chipset, which is slower, but it's still a good, reliable chipset. What was it? I think there's the Logitech G Cloud thing has that in it. Maybe, possibly. Maybe. 108 megapixel camera, and there's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It's got 33 watt fast charging as well, which I guess, given what we've been discussing this week, isn't that fast anymore compared to some of them. But the 10 Pro Plus has a nicer 6.7-inch curved AMOLED display, which is very nice, with 120 hertz refresh rate, and the Dimensity 1080 chipset. That's a nice chipset in there, with an 8 megapixel ultra wide snapper on the back of that 108 megapixel main shooter, and again the 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and it's got a faster charging speed of 67 watts. Ain't that nice?
It is indeed. And I would point people to the YouTube video I watched last night on this very topic by Flossie Carter, who had both of these in hand and went through it kind of step by step with both of them. And it's really an insightful video, not terribly in depth, but gives the main pointers about the fact that these are very much mid-tier devices, both of them. The screen on the Pro Plus, the 10 Pro Plus, is significantly better because it's AMOLED, of course, but it has got a curvy edge. And the one thing that jumped out at him also was that the 10 Pro, the smaller one, the cheaper one, is another iPhone clone that looks very much like the Nothing Phone 1. They just made it look like the square edges of an iPhone, which he liked, but I actually didn't. I prefer the Pro Plus in this case. And then there are some quirky things that are kind of different between them. For example, the micro SD card slot is there on the cheaper one, but not on the more expensive one. They've got the same 108 megapixel cameras between them. There's no 3.5mm audio out jack on the expensive one, but there is on the cheap one. And as you say, there is faster wired charging on the more expensive one. He was demonstrating the screens as well and how different they are, because one's an LCD and one's an AMOLED, and they're poles apart, really are. It was clear just even on a YouTube video how different they are. But, you get what you pay for, and the prices are such, 320 quid and 380 quid, respectively. I think that the Pro Plus I agree with him, is a much better value for money, though. It's got that much more going for it than the basic one, and it's a much nicer design with a slightly curved screen. So that's my say.
No, they're good looking devices, and it's a good option for folks who are looking just to save a little bit of money and get a good value phone for their money. Cool. Tim Cook, I've heard of him before, haven't you? Yes. He's confirmed that Apple are going to start using chips in their phones that are manufactured in the United States. Now, this comes on the back of what we've been seeing on the news of various different riots and things like that, or riots happening in China about the Foxconn factory and the workers that are sort of suffering from the regime, to put it delicately. Was that delicate?
And COVID.
And COVID, yes, and their approach to COVID. So, just to try to sort things out, because was it last week we noted that there was millions of devices that wouldn't be arriving in time for Christmas. In order to keep Apple from producing their devices, they're going to move chip manufacturing to the United States, which will probably cost quite a bit more to do than paying those poor Foxconn workers the grains of rice that they're paying them currently. What do you have to say about this, Mr. Ted Salmon? Do you disagree with it? Are you annoyed? Are you upset?
I've got no feeling at all. It's Apple, and Apple will do what they like, won't they? But they have been. This is not a sweeping change for them, though. They have been slowly moving stuff out of China, presumably in line with what pressure they've got from the US government to do so. Moving things. I mean, they've moved stuff to India already, and I understand that they're developing Vietnamese production lines for Apple Watch and MacBook, I think it was. And the iPhones are going out to India, or have been going out to India. And they're just kind of... I think that there's... What this article is saying in XDA is that the American government are putting out huge subsidies to companies like Apple to say, bring it home. They don't want America and the West to be relying on China. And so they're giving them huge amounts of money in terms of subsidised production costs to make factories in the West. And it's interesting that one of them, they've gone into partnership already with a Taiwanese firm. So the firm that's going to make this factory in Arizona is actually a Taiwan firm anyway. So you've got all that Taiwan stuff going on, and China and America at loggerheads about Taiwan and blah, blah, blah. And there's just this huge divide going on, isn't there, between America and China, and they just want out, and the government are helping firms like Apple and Google actually were not that heavily involved in China in the same way as Apple was, I don't think. I think that the Americans just want everything out of China, don't they?
Yeah, and it seems Tim Cook has picked a place to spread his seed in the Arizona, to plant his seed in the Arizona desert for this to happen. Arizona's really hot, isn't it? It's very arid.
Solar panels.
Oh, yeah. Right. So they're going to become the interesting places where technology is going to develop, and we're going to get people moving down there for work opportunities. So there's going to be a mass exodus of... What was it, Detroit and things like that, where they had massive car factories during the 80s. Everyone's going to be moving up into the more arid states and living in camper vans and things like that. A bit like Breaking Bad or something like that. And working in the Apple plant.
Or making towns.
Yeah.
Making, like they did with Las Vegas, make a town. Let's make a city here.
True, in the middle of a desert. That'd be uncomfortable.
In a Cadbury's type way.
Yeah, and then they'll fill it full of illegal immigrants coming from Mexico and Honduras and things like that, probably.
Yeah.
And
that's another matter.
It is indeed. All right, moving on to stop talking about Tim Cook's seed and move on to Logitech Blue Sona XLR microphone. Are you buying one of these? The new Logitech?
It looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's £300. But apparently it's really, really good. As usual with Logitech, they're taking something and doing it really, really well. And it's being compared with the iconic Shure SM7B, which is that microphone that everyone seems to know about historically. And it just looks like it looks lovely. I know that listeners to this can't look at the picture. Well, click through on the link and you'll be able to. It is an XLR dynamic microphone. So what they're saying about it is that it's really good for up close voice, to cut out background noise and stuff. They're calling it a XLR dynamic supercardioid microphone, which means just exactly what I said, really. That for podcasters, particularly for podcasters or videographers or whatever, they're and they've also made it look really pretty. One of the things I hadn't really clocked onto is that videographers and YouTubers very often these days are featuring the thing they're talking into, i.e. the microphone, in the frame of what they're doing. And Logitech have said, we're acknowledging this, and this is going to look really, really pretty, and we're going to have our microphone across YouTube as vloggers do their thing. So yeah, I do fancy one, but I'm not going to pay £300 for one.
No. Is it available on Amazon on monthly deals or anything? Or,
I don't know. It just looks lovely though. Look at the buttons on the back and it looks like it's really well made and it's very pretty.
Yeah. So it really is. It's a bit of a race to try to get into to vloggers' videos.
Yeah, I suppose so. That you can't get the red one in the UK at the moment. On Amazon, there's a black one, and it's $2.99. But I want a red one.
Well, the one thing that it doesn't say, there isn't a big Logitech logo on it that's really visible. There is at the very end of it, but that's the bit that doesn't really face. Well, I suppose it would face because the microphone's facing the person. But if they had written Logitech down the side of it, imagine the amount of advertising they would have got.
Yeah, I never thought of that. You're right. There's a picture of a bloke podcasting with it, and there's not any idea of what it is there?
Well, yeah, it does say at the very end, the bit that's pointed away. So I guess maybe that might be their strategy move. So it does say Logie.
Right. And you can take the wind thingy off as well. What's it called?
The wind muffler.
The muffler, the windshield. You can take that off of it and use it bare bones by the looks of it. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that because it looks ugly.
Yeah, it helps cut down on popping and things like that as well.
Course,
Sibilance.
Yeah. Of course. Anyway, it looks really lovely and I want one. I'll get Santa to buy me one.
Yeah, okay. We'll listen to you on it after Christmas. Great. Looking forward to that. So, moving into the name of the game, we have just one little story, and that is a pointless story about Amazon Luna is now available to play games on your PC. Ooh. Moving on. Ted, would you be interested in this? You want to get into gaming, you do. So would this be something that you would be...
So let's get this right. If you own games on your PC, so you bought games on, I don't know, on Steam or some other system that you play on your PC, you can also play them within Amazon Luna as long as you've got an account with Amazon, a Prime account with Amazon, and you've got to have an account with someone else. Who is it? Ubisoft.
Uh-huh.
So you've got to have Ubisoft Plus. You've got to have an account with them because it all kind of goes through there. And anyway, this is all for Americans because we haven't even got Luna here, have we?
No, we don't actually. Yeah, that's a fair point. So there's even less reason we should be talking about it.
Move on.
But you've just reminded me to go in and get my Prime games, so I'm doing that. Because there's some pretty good games there this week. We've got Quake and Two Brothers. That was good. I played that. It was a twin sticks adventure game. Banners of Ruin, Rose Riddle 2, don't know what that is, and Amazing American Circus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'd be great if those would be available on Luna, but I don't think they are because you redeem them on all kinds of different stores across the internet.
What a load of claptrap. Let's talk about porn instead.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Why?
Well, we're going to flap your trap about an app, and the first story is about that.
Oh, is it about porn? Oh, right, okay. Oh, cyber deviants. Oh, yeah, they sound fun. So, most young people are normalised by risky behaviour online, apparently, or so says The Guardian. EU-funded surveys of people who are aged between 16 and 19 finds that 1 in 4 of them have trolled someone, while at least cyber deviant is considered a cyber deviant of 9 countries. I don't quite understand what that means. What does that mean?
It means, well, the across Europe they did this survey of 8,000 young people between 16 and 19, and they asked them to answer questions honestly, obviously, and they collected the results, and they reckon that they came up with these bunch of statistics, which include 44% of them said that they watched pornographic material. 34.
They admitted to this?
Exactly.
Stupid kids.
The other 56% were lying. Digital piracy, 34%. trolling and tracking 27% each, incited violence, which is where we come to the more troublesome bits of this, 22%, sexting 22%, illegal gaming marketplaces 18%, spam 15%, self-generated images 15%, which I presume means dick pics, money muling. I can't believe that's 12% of those people are money muling.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's when you are approached by a typically African firm to move some money around, and then you put it in your account and then send it to someone else, and then it's basically laundering money for someone else. And I can't believe that 12% of people are doing that. You'd think it would be a tiny weeny amount of people, but clearly not. Anyway, 12% have admitted to harassing people online, and 11% of doling out hate speech. So, yeah, it's a bit... I think the point of the article is it's a bit worrying, although in the UK they didn't have the high figures that the rest of Europe had, apparently. But it's a bit worrying that people are growing up into a society where a lot of these kind of dodgy, unhelpful and nasty activities are becoming normalised in their online activities.
Yeah. And it's going to be a really difficult thing for them to solve as well, unless there's some sort of digital ID card that they put together, somehow managed to push out to people. And obviously a lot of people are instantly going to be turned off by that idea. So that requiring something like that is going to anger the majority of people. It really is. It's worrying to think about what the internet's going to be like maybe in about 10 years' time.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon that nobody under 21 should be allowed online. That's it. End of story.
All right. Okay. Well, even... No, that wouldn't work. No. Okay. Yeah, the internet's becoming really quite tiresome and annoying. Yeah. And I was even thinking about the simplicity of how something like Google or old search engines used to work that would bring you the information as soon as possible. You could just jump on, do a search, get the information you need as quickly as possible. That's what the internet was pretty much created for. Whereas now, I was sitting in work and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to quickly Google and see what a particular condition that someone was suffering from was, because I didn't know what it was. And I had to open Internet Explorer and it automatically opened Bing. I was like, oh, I'm not typing in Bing, so I want to go, but I had to click the disclaimer thing on Bing and then put in google.com. And then it opened up and it asked me to sign into my Gmail account first and foremost. I was like, I don't want to do that. And I clicked that. And then it asked me to, the cookie disclaimer thing, and had to click away from that. And then I was able to put in what it was I was looking for. So it took me about, a minute in order to do a quick search online. And that's what the internet's turning into. It's stupidly complex. Where it was set up for convenience, now it's not convenient. And I was thinking, do I really want to Google this to find out what it was? Because I have to jump through so many hoops in order to get the answer. It might be easier just going to get in a bloody dictionary.
Unless you just go to Chrome and then type it into Chrome and that's the end of it. Or have a Chromebook and it's all inside Google's walled garden then.
It is, but where I work, I'm not able to bring my Chromebook with me, and I have to rely on their terminals that we're working on. Sure. And every time you close Internet Explorer, it wipes everything that you've done because you can't keep cookies. Yeah,
that is a very kind of commercial example, though, isn't it? Not commercial, but work-based example.
Yeah,
most of us don't see all that, do we?
No, it's much easier to do it in your personalised machine. But if, say, for example, internet cafes, if you suddenly go, oh, what exactly is gonorrhea urethritis? Let's go and Google it. There's an internet cafe over there. And, you go and do that, and it takes you 20 minutes to sign in and set up all the cookies, and then you're disappointed because you don't know how to spell gonorrhea urethritis. Streptococcal keratitis. Yes, meningomyelitis.
Well done.
Sorry, I've been listening to Monty Python recently.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on to Google details. What apps are going to be available to work with their spatial audio technologies that are being built into Pixel phones and Buds Pro. What can we expect from this? Is there anything that we should be excited about?
I think I've got to the bottom of this. I was trying to work out what it is you have to do and have in January to make this work. Firstly, you've got to have a Pixel 6 or a Pixel 6 Pro or a 7 or a 7 Pro. So you'll be all right. And if the Google PR leave me with the 7 Pro, I'll be all right. And I thought at first you had to have Pixel Buds to make it work, but you don't. What you get if you use the Pixel Buds is an extra level of something called head tracking. So if you want your head... maybe you know more than I about what head tracking is, but just before I hand back to you... the spatial audio should work with those phones and any headphones that have got 5.1 Bluetooth or above, and that the tracks are encoded in 5.1. And they will work with Netflix, YouTube, Google TV, and HBO Max for some reason. And then the spatial audio thing will work if you've got all those boxes ticked and you've got the right phone. Head tracking, I think, is... does that mean if you move your head left, then it compensates for the fact that you've moved your head left and leaves the audio where it was? Is that right?
I don't exactly know. I'm doing a quick bit of Googling here to see if I can get a hands-on. Apple's head tracking for music is one weird... Oh, we care about your privacy. One weird trip. Listening to music on wireless headphones and true wireless earbuds is already an intimate and immersive experience. A spatial audio format can... Nope, don't know what it is. Right, okay.
Perhaps you have to be an Apple user to know at the moment. But anyway, it's coming to Google, and they're obviously copying Apple.
Okay, so it does... I suppose if you're sitting maybe looking at a screen and you were to turn your head to the right... it would twist the audio so that it would be like if you were at a gig and turning your head to the right.
Yeah, and leaves the music source where it was. So this is my theory anyway, that if you got your sound coming from the front of you, you turn to the left, and it doesn't go with you. It stays across to your right-hand side, and it doesn't make it all a bit wonky. But I don't know. I'm just speculating.
No, I guess we need to experience it.
Indeed, and you can in January. You particularly, because you've got a 6 Pro, and we will expect some feedback when it arrives.
But I need to have a pair of Pixel Buds
No,
Pro.
you don't. You only need... Oh, yeah, for the head tracking you do. Sorry, yeah.
But I don't have those, and I'm not going to because I like my edifiers.
Well, we can both feedback on the actual spatial audio, though, can't we?
Yeah.
Looking on the positive side.
Well, we'll look forward to that next year if we remember. Okay, Chrome Corner. Is there anything Chromey that we should get excited about?
Something that they're doing to Chrome, apparently, which I think that we've talked about before, but I think it's arriving now, which is Google are going to make Chrome more RAM and energy efficient with 2 new features.
How many years have we been asking for that?
Yeah, I know. So RAM... I'll tell you one thing that I've noticed about... Since, I got my widescreen monitor. Well, yes. Since then, I typically have 2 instances of Chrome, one on the left and one on the right, and I dance between them so that I can see more the stuff. So, you could argue that I've got 2 instances of Chrome going, or you could also argue that it's no different having 2 tabs of Chrome, but they are 2 different windows. And since then...
we appear to have lost Mr. Ted Simon once again.
Not again, for goodness sake. What is going on in the world? Do let me know when I'm back, and I'll continue.
You are back.
Right.
Back in the room.
Stupid connectivity. I'm gonna take a large dagger and go around to EE HQ and insert
Don't
it.
carry on with that sentence.
Yeah.
Because if it were to happen over the holiday period, you'd be the number one suspect.
What I was trying to say was that before that, you used to go on about these problems with using Chrome and memory problems and RAM problems, and I never saw it. But since I have had my 2 windows open nearly all the time, I do, and I get it. But when I go back to having just one window open, it doesn't happen. So anyway, these 2 tools that they're going to be putting into this energy saver and the memory saver, they reckon that they're going to fix all this, and they're going to shut down inactive tabs while you're not using them, and particularly if they're media heavy tabs and blah blah blah, and they're copying something that Microsoft have been doing in Edge anyway, and blah blah blah. Boring. Let's move on.
Well, see, one of the best things I recommend anyone ever to do with web browsing is to get a Pi-hole, because it eliminates ads at source. You know, you get your ad blockers, it still downloads the ad, and then the browser goes, oh, hang on a second, I'm not opening that, so I'm not going to show that, and it cuts it off at the display. The Pi-hole goes, no, you're not coming down our bandwidth wires here, and keeps it away from displaying anything at all and downloading it to your computer. So your websites load just that little bit faster, and Chrome has less work to do. And looking at websites now, I can't believe I suffered so many years of seeing so many ads. Now I see virtually none. And that's one of the things that really causes the problems with RAM and energy efficiency in your browsers. So going and sorting that out at source, what Google are actually looking to do here is that old thing of where you used to, when you got multi-tab browsers, you used to be able to go and click on a web page and then go away to something else and let that web page load and render in the background, and then come back and the web page would be ready to go. So you're not going to be able to do that anymore. They're turning off background loading. So if you have a bunch of different Chrome tabs open, to let them load in all their ads and all their nice little bells and whistles and things like that, then you can just have it. You could leave it going in the background. I frequently do that still to this day, even though we've got super fast internet. But because there's so much information coming down and going back up again, websites still take a long time to load. But you're going to have to sit through that with this tool.
Wait, hang on a minute. You can turn it off.
I know, but then it defeats the point.
You can opt out.
Well, I'm waiting for Google to say, right, we've established this new method that we're going to do effectively what Pi-hole does, and cut out all of the nefarious crap that comes down your bandwidth, and slows down your internet connection the way the Pi-hole does. Because I still see Google ads, because the Pi-hole can let those through, and that's fine. That supports people.
Right.
Where you've got the crap ads that are plastered all over the likes of MSN or something like that, and those clickbaity ads that pop up on, I don't know, Daily Mail or whatever, that eats up the bandwidth and causes the computer to have to work overtime to be able to display all of that crap on the website. Whereas you might just want to jump onto a newspaper and have a quick read of something, and cut out all the garbage that's coming down.
Yeah, except that firms would then go out of business, wouldn't they? And there'd be more people on the dole because the Daily Mail couldn't afford to do what they do, because they're not getting any revenue from adverts because no one's looking at them, and the whole infrastructure of advertising and internet would collapse around their ears.
Well, that would eventually happen, yes, but in the meantime, we would have quite a pleasant experience.
Oh, good. One might think it's coming up to Christmas.
Well, yes. No, I welcome the news that Chrome is going to become less RAM intensive, but I do wish that they would do something more and useful.
Right.
Anyway, Hark Back. Right, as it's Christmas, I figured I would just have a go. I don't even know if it's going to be particularly successful, but I'm going to hark back to what Christmas morning used to be like. I think Christmas has changed. Currently, I know that Christmas morning is it's actually kind of an awful thing here. To be a bit personal about it, I'm married to a Jehovah's Witness who doesn't actually celebrate Christmas at all. So, and I've got a child who is 10 years old and doesn't know to buy presents for other people yet, really. So Christmas morning is all about me giving gifts to other people, and I don't receive anything in return. So it's terrible. But you have your Christmas morning, and I set things out with the big sack with all the toys and fun things in it for the little one coming down the stairs, and that is basically it. That's what I remember doing, and I'm trying to do that for my son. But I was thinking about Christmas morning when I was a kid, and one of the most exciting mornings that I could remember, where I waited, I lay awake until about, midnight or something, and I heard my parents moving around. Oh, this is going to be a spoiler, actually. If you're a child, stop listening now. I listened to them rustling around and moving things out and placing things, and then going upstairs to bed. And I waited about half an hour for them to fall asleep, and then I got out of bed and I scampered downstairs at 1 o'clock in the morning and opened the living room door, and instead of a Commodore Amiga, I had an Amstrad 464 Plus sitting there, which I had chosen myself. I told my dad I didn't want an Amiga. I wanted the Amstrad. This was 1992, I think, maybe. What's that? No, it would be before that, 1990, maybe, yeah. So I plugged it in, and I started loading up all my crappy games from tape, instead of playing with the Deluxe Paint package that I knew my friend would be up the street doing, because he got the Amiga and I got the Amstrad. And by about 3 o'clock, I was cold, I was bored, I was sick of having to load games off a cassette, and I went back up to bed. But I still remember that being the best Christmas morning for me, because it was a bit of an event. I was dead excited about getting a new Amstrad and being able to play all those old games that I had on my old Amstrad that blew up. It was an exciting Christmas morning for me, and I remember very well the noise, the sound, the music played by Burnin' Rubber, which is the cartridge game that was included in the Amstrad. The first time I ever managed to play that, and it was just sitting down there and unpacking it all and getting all plugged in and ready to go. That was great. And by 3 o'clock, I was very tired and ready for bed. I went upstairs and slept until about 10 o'clock, and then my parents were like, "What happened? How did all this get set up? It's a Christmas miracle." And I thought, Ted, what's your favourite memory of Christmas morning?
Well, I think that it was different for me because I'm a bit older than you. So when I was a kid, my memories were about, yes, the excitement of coming down and opening your presents and blah, blah, blah. And actually, on one occasion, I did, I remember me and my sister snuck down and opened some presents when we weren't supposed to be, and they were the wrong ones. We got into right old trouble about that. Anyway, but my memory was less about gaming, but more about cameras and radios and things that in the 1960s, I think, were just the thing that the kids are likely to be getting, like, train sets. And I had a fabulous train set, and I remember one Christmas I got this locomotive that I was really eyeing up, and I was just so bowled over to get that, and I get it out on my train track, which my dad and me had built between us, although he did most of the work. And it was just really exciting. And so cameras were a big thing. They were cheap and, like box brownie camera type things, really old and cheap, but they were there, and I was thrilled to get those. I remember radios particularly as well. I loved transistor radios, and I spent half my the late 60s listening to radio and putting my earpiece in, a single earpiece that went from the 3.5 into your ear, and that was your lot. No stereo, no headphones, no stereo at all, just mono. And one Christmas I remember opening this radio up, and I was delighted with it, but after about 10 minutes I got bored and started to take it apart. So I got a screwdriver and undid it all and took out all the parts, and I thought, right, I'll get this back together before anyone sees. I really want to see what's inside it. And so even back in those days, I was kind of tech-minded. I wanted to see how it worked, and what was inside it, and what made it all happen. And I took it, and of course I couldn't get it back together, nor could anyone else. It was ruined. But so yeah, in terms of tech, I suppose that's where my memories of Christmas morning are. And we always had a sack as well, which other people had a stocking, but we had a sack, which was actually a pillowcase. So we had that full of things on the end of the bed that you could open when you woke up, and they were typically small cheap things like a tube of Smarties and a tangerine and just gold coins. Remember gold coins?
Oh yeah, I've got a pack of them sitting here. I bought them from every year.
And so stuff like that. So my memories were very much about that. But in terms of tech, it was about train sets and cameras and radios and stuff like that. And great memories of the late 60s and all good fun.
I do remember one year before Christmas, I'd asked my brother for an album, and he bought me the cassette for my Christmas present. And I knew where he hid his bangers, because he had bangers, and I would go in and raid them.
What are bangers?
Little small sticks of dynamite that you light the fuse on and throw them, and they go.
Oh right, okay.
They were actually kind of illegal here, but we used to go to France every summer, and my brother would stock up on them, and I would too, and we'd come home, and I'd have blown all mine up, but my brother would ration them out and use them over the course of the year. But I knew where he kept them, and I went in and I had a look, and you pulled the bottom drawer out of his wardrobe, and he'd keep all his stuff under there. I think there might have been a Playboy or something like that as well, because he was a teenager and I was a good bit younger. But I found the cassette that of the album, I think it was Aha, Scoundrel Days, and I went, wow, right. And I ran up to my transistor radio and I copied it onto a blank tape, and then I went and put it back so that he could give it to me on Christmas Day. And I was listening to it, and he never noticed. And then he gave me it on Christmas Day, and I was like, I'm sick of that album now. I ripped it for myself.
Oh, I'm grateful.
Yeah. But no, Christmas was always about, I suppose, that's the difference. Christmas was about computers and games consoles and things like that. Yeah. Nowadays, it's even more so.
Yeah.
But it's getting so hard to buy. Like, my son wants a copy of video editing software. Right. I can't really buy that and give it to you.
No.
That's a digital purchase online. He wants a Steam card as well, and it's like, oh well, right, okay, I can get that and wrap it up, but it's crap. Look, it's a tiny little card. It's like a credit card. Imagine wrapping a credit card and setting it down on the floor, and it's like, there you go, there's your Christmas present. And it can have a large amount of money on it, and that will give him extreme joy. But he'll go into the living room on Christmas morning and go, is that it? One little credit card.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Or you can top up his bank account or something like that. And giving cash is at least something that you can do. And I will be doing that for my stepdaughter.
That's a bit boring though, isn't it?
It is. It's not something they get to open.
Exactly. Not like getting a drum or a train set or something you can actually see the shape of and open it with excitement and also not knowing what's coming. I find that people are ordering their own presents now. we have this Amazon wish list thing going on in our family, and everyone is basically ordering their own present. All right, you can argue that you give them a list of 10 things and they pick one of them, but essentially it's you know what's coming. Whereas in the old days, I think you surprised people, and sometimes that was a hideous miss.
Yes.
But, a lot of the time that kind of didn't matter because it was a thought that counted, and yeah.
Yeah, I do remember getting a chocolate hammer for Christmas a couple of years ago from my stepdaughter. I was like, great, thanks.
It's the thought that counts.
It is, yeah. It's not something I would have picked for myself, but okay, great. I've eaten it. It's gone.
One of my sisters, we decided a few years ago that this was just all really silly, so we don't do it anymore. We don't pick something for the other person and pay to have it delivered. And the other thing we do is that when we send someone something from Amazon, you get the partner to wrap it up. So you send it to the partner, and then they can do the wrapping, and that works both ways for everyone.
But Amazon offer gift wrapping.
They do for about £6, and that's why we stopped doing it. And also, it stopped being wrapped up properly some time ago, and they just chuck it in a bag. You get this kind of blue bag thing with a handle on the top, and inside is the item. Yeah, but when they first started doing it, they obviously paid for staff to carefully wrap it up like you would do it yourself. But so that's all changed as well.
Wow,
it must be a bit conflictual for your son in your house. I was going to say, maybe you don't want to talk about this on air, but. If he's got one message from Mother and one from you, he won't know where he is, would he? Am I allowed to have Christmas or am I not?
Yeah, kind of meet each other in the middle on that.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing, but I do it, so...
Yeah. Anyway, it was all good fun. I do. My memories of Christmas morning have been really good over the, certainly in my childhood, and very exciting. Not so much now, of course, but... I know exactly what I'm getting this year. I'm getting my telly.
Yes.
And it's sat there over at my mum's house. Just sat there. I could be using it, but no, it's for Christmas Day.
Are they going to wrap it, or are they just going to hand it to you?
No, it's too big.
You should act all surprised whenever you get it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Really? For me? Wow, I really wanted that. How did you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting nothing this year. Oh no, my mother will get me some socks and things like that. I think she got me a jumper. That's right. She asked me what size.
Nice.
If I've moved from large to extra large, that was a bit of a hint, wasn't it?
Well, I think you, given that you keep Amazon going, you get enough stuff for yourself anyway.
True. Yes. Well, I have to. Yeah. Anyway, so folks, let us know about your Christmas morning. What was your favourite Christmas morning? And did you get fun stuff back when you were young? Would you have a particularly memorable Christmas box?
Skylectrics. Are you too young for that?
No, I had my Skylectrics out yesterday.
Oh, right.
It's down in the shed. I was looking for a DVD and I moved it.
I loved that Skylectrics as well. That was such fun. And the cars just keep flying off, and you didn't care. You just put them back. It was just so exciting to build your track and to make it all happen. A bit like the train set, really. It was imagination, and you could make the landscape how you wanted it to be. And if you could be bothered, you get some paper mache and make some hills and get little figures to put on train stations. And I do think that imagination back then, it probably isn't the same now. I've gone back into the topic which you were closing down.
No, it's fine actually. I learnt something about model trains a wee while ago because I figured I would like to go back and get models of all the cars I've owned,
right,
at a particular scale, and I've got 3 of the cars that I've owned, and I'm still working on some of the other ones because it gets harder to try and get a similar colour at least, but just as a reminder, so you can have your cars through the years, and it's a nice. It looks quite nice up there on the shelf.
Yeah,
and I was looking for my first car, which was a Volkswagen Golf Mark II, 1985. And it was a cracker car, I have to say that. But I went looking to see if I could get one in the polar silver, which was actually kind of a gold colour. And I kept looking through, and I kept seeing this one. It was a miniature for model railways. It was identical to the car that I had, and I was like, really? And then I had a look for another car that I had, an Insignia, and I found an identical one that would fit with that Polar Silver Golf for the model railways. And I was like, hang on a second, do they make individual cars at that level of detail for model railways? I could find almost all of my cars for a model railway.
Oh, right.
But I couldn't find the slightly larger size. 144 was the scale I was looking to build my collection of. It was a weird thing that model railways seemed to have all of them in the colours that I wanted.
It must be still a big thing, mustn't it? I didn't realise that it used to be Hornby back in my day. I don't know if it still is, and people are clearly still doing it if they're selling stuff like that.
No, it did. The one I ended up buying, I did get the wee one, and I gave it to my brother, actually, because he had the car before me, technically. It was his car, and then it passed to me whenever he moved off to America. And I gave it to him as a gift to remember his first car buy,
right.
Because it didn't fit with my collection. But I just bought it, and I thought, wow, it's a 4-door Mark II GL in polar silver. That precise for railways. And you can get all kinds of different ones as well.
How big was it?
It was about 2 inches long. It was tiny.
Right. No, that's quite big. Because I'm thinking of the things that you would typically put on if you were setting up your railways setup in your house, figures and cars and anything small that needs to be on a train platform or whatever, or next to a platform in a car park, would need to be really tiny. But that's bigger, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think it was 125 or something like that. I can't remember what the railway scale is for that particular set. But, it was just a bizarre thing that I noticed that, you can get all kinds of different cars, shapes and sizes for trains.
Yeah, weird.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yes, we'll move on from Hark Back, because it's not exactly tech-related anymore, aside from that old Amstrad I got.
I tried to make it so. I took my radio apart.
Yes. Well, Christmas is the time that I actually dust off my Amstrads, and I've got a bit of time off work, so I sit down and have a wee play on it, because I do like hearing the music coming out of it, and it makes me nostalgic and enjoy Christmas on my own.
Very nice. And also time off from podcasting.
Oh, true. I've got 3 weeks to play with here. It's going to be great. Right, okay, Bargain Basement, where you can get some last-minute Christmas gifts. Where we're going to start is this is mine, actually, and it's not loading. Why is it not loading? Open. Damn it. Open.
Your turn.
Amazon.
Turn to have tech problems, I mean.
Oh, it's working now. Yeah. This is a set of Bluetooth keyboard and mouse from Microsoft. It's the Microsoft QHG quadruple 04 Bluetooth keyboard and mouse set, and it's reduced in price from 60 quid down to 35 quid. It's a fairly nice looking chiclet style keyboard and a wee Bluetooth mouse as well, that you could take with you if you need to use. It's not terribly expensive, and just look like a nice little addition to a desktop set. Obviously there's cheaper ones you can get, but these are made by Microsoft, so they're probably a wee bit better quality than you might expect for this price range.
Very nice. I wonder if that mouse does continual scrolling. I've got really used to that now with my mouse. I don't want to give that up. You know what I mean? Am I using the wrong term? If you spin the mouse, it keeps scrolling.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Because the Logitech one, I've got so used to that now. And also, I wonder, you see to the left of the word Microsoft on the keyboard, there's a search key. I was wondering if that works with anything except Bing or Edge. Or I wonder if you were defaulted to Chrome, whether that button would work with Chrome or Google.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, good price that. 35 quid, nearly half price.
And they're always useful.
Yeah. Now, talking of Mises, I've got the Logitech MX Master 2S at 25 quid off, 40 quid. This is not my choice of mouse, but I know that lots of people, including you, like this bigger style of mouse, and that's a bit cheaper at the moment. It does go up and down in price, to be fair, and any given day it might be up or down, but the proper price is supposed to be 65 quid, 40 quid. Very nice.
There we go. We've lost Ted again.
Not
it's
again.
A lovely mouse.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
and it
9,
was £64
10,
and 10p
11,
and
12, 13, 14, 15,
which is minus
16,
38%.
17, 18,
there he's
19,
back
20,
in the room.
21.
Hello.
You're getting used to me counting now.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you disappearing off to the toilet each time? Is that what you're doing? No,
but there is a 3.
Oh, no.
Oh, am I gone again? 1, 2, 3.
Right. No, you're back. You're back.
There is a 3 version as well, isn't there? The Master
there
3.
Is.
Yeah. So
I'm noticing Amazon's putting in climate pledge friendly on a lot of things now.
Oh yeah. What does that mean?
It's eco-friendly.
This means that the product's carbon emissions have been measured and reduced with any remaining emissions offset.
Great.
Now you know.
Yeah, I did watch John Oliver and how the offsetting isn't actually what you think it might actually be.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to HyperX SoloCast. This is a wee microphone, not unlike the one that Ted was bigging up earlier on in the show, but it's black, I suppose. HyperX, pretty good brand, if you ask me. It's a USB condenser gaming microphone for the PC or PlayStation 4 or Mac, and it allows you to talk to people while you're gaming. It's reduced in price from £65 down to 40 quid, and I'm guessing you can also use it for podcasting as well. So while we're off air, you could go and make your own podcast, couldn't you, Gareth Williams?
Yes. Get your finger out and do your own. Yeah. Actually, Gareth would be a really interesting bloke to do one because he's got so much stuff in his house. It's all full up, a bit like you, with all sorts of gear and gadgets and gaming stuff and just tons of it by the sounds of it. Not that I've ever been round there, but it must be very interesting talking to him personally.
Well, there we go. We'll try and get him on the new year. There's a microphone. Gareth, go buy that. You probably already have one.
Yeah. He is very busy though. He goes all sorts of active whatsits. You'll probably never get a hold of him. Logitech K380 has been my keyboard of choice this week because we've been talking about it on PSC, comparing QWERTY options and keyboards, and I realised that my K380 needed a bit of an airing, so I got it out and hooked it up with my tablet and mouse, my little Logitech Pop mouse, and it makes a nice little set. It's not a folding keyboard, so taking it with you is a bit of a problem, but it's been reduced. The K380, really, really nice little unit, from £45 to £26 at the moment. So that is a steal, I reckon. Go and buy one. They're really cute.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the function buttons as well. There's Bluetooth, F1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, you can hook it up to 3 different units. So you can have one for your computer, one for your tablet, one for your phone or whatever, and it'll just Bluetooth out to them, and you press each one to then switch it over, and that works seamlessly. You can be typing away, tap, then straight onto the next one really, really quickly. It also is got 2 AAA batteries in it, which means you don't need to recharge any batteries. You just replace the batteries and they last 2 years, and they do. They're really, really power efficient.
Oh, I don't like that now. I prefer rechargeable batteries. AA is stupid.
Ha!
Anyway, yeah, okay. The next one is, apparently I've purchased this before. I don't remember purchasing this before.
Yeah.
Right, okay. The Crucial MX 500 4TB 3D NAND SATA 2.5-inch internal SSD is down in price from £362.87, which is a very precise price, down to £256.06. That's a saving of 29%, according to Amazon. And I'm having a problem with Amazon at the moment, where if I click on something, it doesn't tell me if it's available 5 monthly payments. I have to actually add it to my basket, and then it'll tell me that I can pay in 5 monthly payments of £51.22 in order to get that. That's actually quite good.
Whereas I'm seeing that on the front page. I'm looking at the crucial page, and on the right hand side, 5 monthly payments, £51.22. So yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, isn't it? The way Amazon works.
Bizarre. Yeah, but I would be tempted actually to pick that up. I haven't bought one of those before. Why is it telling me I bought one of these on the 24th of March 2021?
If you click through to the order, you might have returned it. Or you bought it for someone else's computer?
It says I bought the 2 terabyte variant. I don't remember that at all. I have a 2 terabyte one in my computer, but it's a Kingston. Bizarre. Really bizarre.
While you're investigating, I'll give you my last one, which is the Razer Basilisk Ultimate wireless gaming mouse. Wireless, I might add, which is very handy. Reduced from 150 quid to 110. Lots of lighting, RGB stuff going on, as usual with Razer stuff. And apparently it reviews really, really well. And it is reduced in price. And it does have a ever-scrolling scroll wheel. Hurrah!
Right, okay. That's a good-looking mouse, actually, that.
Yeah. I love the Razer green stuff. It's just so nice. And some of them, the Viper come with a stand. So when you're not using it, you just put it on the stand and it keeps it charged. I like that. That's really nice. That's the Viper Ultimate, no, not the Basilisk Ultimate.
Did you mention if that's available on 5 monthly payments?
It's not. It's not showing me that on the front page now.
Right. Okay. But it might do. Yeah, I'm going to add it to my basket and see.
Right.
Because sometimes it likes me more than you.
Yeah. Well, up until this week, I've not been seeing, as you know, I've not seen any of the 5 month thing, whatever. So I don't know. It's just
that's interesting. It's actually it's being sold by Amaze Products as opposed to Razer's own shop.
Oh yeah, and this one says it's being sold by Tanis Limited.
Ah.
So actually, you probably won't stand much chance unless it's being sold by Amazon themselves. Oh, here's one from Amazon. Right, if you go to the Viper Ultimate, the Razer Viper Ultimate, the one to which I referred, which also actually is a bargain basement because it's 170 quid, £100 off, no, £90 off, 79.97, and that one that's the one with the stand, and it is showing me 5 monthly payments, 16. Oh, that's very tempting. £16 for 5 months. Ooh, ooh, and it's got that lovely stand. Ooh.
Okie dokie. Down, boy. Right. Actually, a bit of an update on the Crucial MX500.
Yep.
I did buy it, 2 terabyte, and I stuck it in the PS4. That's where it went. Because it's compatible with PlayStation.
You don't know your arse from your elbow.
The PS4 is disconnected and sitting beside the TV at the moment because where the PS5 is, so I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah. Well, there you go then. How far? Oh, it's a bit of a short show, isn't it? What can we do for the next 26 minutes?
I don't know. No, Ted, stop that.
The sun's still shining. A second weather report. The sun is still shining. Yesterday it felt very Christmassy with snow and ice and freezing cold. And now it feels like it's a spring day with the sun out and blue sky and the colours bouncing off the green and yellow bridge. It's a different world.
Oh, is the bridge green and yellow?
It is.
That's one thing I've never actually known about that train bridge. I've never thought of what colour it could possibly be. I always imagined it was a big metal iron thing.
It is, but it's painted green, and it's all green with yellow railings and yellow handrails. It's very pretty, actually.
Well, there you go, folks. That's a bit of trivia that I've never thought of asking before. What colour is the train bridge that we hear so frequently in all your podcasts?
Yeah, and the train's going underneath it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
While you were describing that, I was buying myself a Crucial MX500 4TB 3D NAND.
Another one.
5 months at £51.20p. That's on its way to me now.
I reckon you ought to buy a Loop Deck or a Stream Deck. You ought to keep up with me. Which one are you going to get?
I want to get that Loop Deck Live 2 or Plus or whatever it's called, the one we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
No, that's the Stream Deck Plus. The new Stream...
No, the Loop Deck Live
Plus.
Plus.
No. The one we spoke about last week was the new Stream Deck with the 2 buttons, the 2 knobs on it. You're talking about the Loop Deck Live, which is... right, I'm going to look up the Loop Deck Live. Oops. Oh dear, that's the wrong website. You'd think by now I'd know how to use websites. Loop Deck Live. The Loop Deck Live S.
Loop Deck Live S.
Loop Deck Live S.
That's what I want.
Talk amongst yourselves. Loop Deck Live S. Oh yeah, that one. Right, okay. That one looks almost exactly the same as the new Stream Deck, which is called the Stream Deck Plus. No, in fact, it's not as... Look at the Stream Deck Plus, because I think you'll prefer it. It's got much more about it going on. Can you see that? The Elgato Stream Deck Plus, 199 quid.
Yes.
And that's really cool. It's got 4 knobs instead of 2, and...
But I don't need 4 knobs.
Everyone needs 4 knobs. Yes.
But also it's not available on monthly payments. So you'd have to pay 200 quid up front for it. Whereas the Loop Deck Live S is 169. It's a smaller unit. And it hasn't arrived on Amazon yet.
No, it's showing us out of stock for me.
Oh, really? Is there even a listing for it?
Yeah, there's a listing. It says out of stock, temporarily out of stock. We are working hard to be back in stock. Place your order. And yeah, there's obviously no monthly payments, but that's being sold directly by Loop Deck, not by Amazon. So it's not surprising that there's no monthly payments on that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you buy a Stream Deck Mark II, it is being sold by Amazon, the white one anyway, and that is on 5 months for me.
Possibly,
Do you think anyone's still listening to this tripe? They must have switched off, realising that we're going to try and pad out another 20 minutes. No, I've given up on this. I've got much better things to do. I've got to wrap up my presents. These two warbling on about bugger all.
Well, that's something they don't really get to... Oh, no, they do. Yeah, every week we just ramble on about nonsense. Yes. Me more so than you.
The colour of bridges. Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah. Anyway, you've got some car cleaning to do, haven't you?
I do. I have to clean piss out of the car, that's right, yeah. And my waterproof coat as well, which I don't know how to do that. What do I have to do? It's waterproof.
Waterproof what?
My waterproof coat. The cat.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, okay. No, you shouldn't need to worry about that. Just hose it down.
But that's not. That takes away the water. It's cat piss is probably acidic in some sort of way.
Perhaps you should have done it yesterday.
But I was partying with my pals.
Drunken sod.
Yeah, that's a point. I need to get something to eat. I'm starting to feel a wee bit ropey, to be honest.
Well, we better wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and thank them all very, very much for tuning in to our tripe every week, and wish them a very Happy New Year, because we won't be back till after New Year, will we?
No, it's quite a tearful process, isn't it? This is the last one of 2022. Yeah. And they won't hear from us until 2023, when the world will be wonderful, because on New Year's Eve it's all going to change. The war's going to stop, all prices are going to go back down, cost of living is going to just stop immediately, and we'll all be great. Life will be happy.
Unless a meteor hits the Earth and takes us all out, and there's nothing left.
Well, is that the worst thing in the world?
Or there's a solar flare that whips out of the sun unexpectedly and we're all frazzled.
Are you fantasizing? Death to everyone. Right, okay. Well, yes, folks, do have a lovely Christmas. And whenever you're having yourself a wee brandy or a wee whiskey on Christmas Eve or a port or whatever you happen to do, have another one on me. Yeah. Just pour a second measure. And if someone says to you, haven't you had a bit much? Just say, no. Gareth says, have one on him. Yes. Yeah. And make yourself just that wee bit more sick on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Boxing Day vomiting.
Yes. Spend at least half an hour over the toilet. Get someone to hold your hair back. Yeah. That's what you need. Don't enjoy your Christmas dinner. Just vomit.
Yes. And don't ask Auntie Mabel if she wants stuffing.
Oh, okay. That's your line, is it? Right, okay. All right. Well, yes, have a lovely Christmas time. Have a wonderful new year. We've enjoyed very much talking to you this year, and I can't believe anyone who's still here listening to this. I would shake you by the hand if I could. And Ted, you have a wonderful Christmas too. Thank you for putting up with my nonsense all year.
Isn't that kind?
And I hope you get your train set and your locomotive, and you skip down in your stocking soles on Christmas morning and get everything that you've been hoping for.
Might be difficult in a bungalow.
Yes, okay. Well, you could get a ladder or something.
Yeah. And I wish everything for you. Perhaps you'll get a transistor radio. You never know. Thank you all.
I would like one, actually. That'd be nice.
Thank you all. It's been a good year. Good fun.
Yeah.
We like a laugh.
We do. I think the audience probably wants a laugh as well. They rarely get it.
If you want another laugh as well, don't forget that we also have Projector Room, which is coming up this Wednesday. And we have a right old laugh on there with Alan Gilday, who's probably currently also hungover like Gareth. And we have a right old laugh with that. We also have a right old laugh with Whatever Works, another podcast. All of these podcasts, including PSC, you can find via tedsalmon.com, which is my website. Links to all the podcasts and all the MeWe groups. If you're not already involved in our MeWe groups, come across there and talk to us. We'd like to have you. Links to all that there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, we're doing this the wrong way around, aren't we? You should be first. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that. It's paypal.me/Ted Salmon. Your turn now.
I'm not even going to plug myself. I'm going to say, do what Ted did there. Buy him a coffee for Christmas. That would make him really happy. A wee coffee for Christmas.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah. And, absolutely. Do get in touch with us. I'll give the email address at least. It's Gareth@techaddicts.uk. You can also find us on Twitter as well if you want to throw something at us just to consider or what have you. Have a lovely Christmas. Have a lovely time off whatever you're doing. All right, take care, folks, and we'll speak to you all next year.
Merry Christmas!
Ho, ho, ho.